We're live on Facebook. We're live. We're going to wait for some people to drop in here, guys. We're going to talk a little bit today about, I have 4 health hacks here on an animal-based diet. Dave the man, what's going on, brother? 4 health hacks today, guys. We're going to be talking about 4 specific health hacks, swaps that you can be making. What's going on, babe? Happy freaking Wednesday if you guys are just tuning in on Instagram, on Facebook. We go live now every single day at 1 o'clock. And today, Wednesdays, I try to talk about nutrition. I try to talk about things we can switch out, in the kitchen and how to really get more people to eat animal-based, right, from regenerative farms and stuff like that. So today we're going to be going over 4. Spicy James, what's going on, brother? Happy freaking Wednesday. We're going to be going over 4 health hacks that all of us can be implementing in the kitchen. They're very simple. A few of them are going to surprise you guys. I'm going to tell you right now. It's going to be very eye-opening. When I first discovered an animal-based diet 15 months ago, my girlfriend and I, we kind of went all in with it. We were still eating certain vegetables, and we were still, we would still cheat with certain stuff. But for the most part, we would adhere to, 80%, I would say 70, 80% animal foods, and then the rest would be plant, derived from plant foods. But it has made the world of a difference with our digestion, with not having to use as much sunscreen or sunblock when we go outside. We're able to have a stronger cellular membrane against the sun, which is really freaking cool. I'm going to wait for a few more people to drop in here just so I can make it, I can make it worth my time here, guys. I want to make sure that I have enough people in here listening. So if you guys want to tag a friend, if you want to throw and at anyone you guys know that's on Instagram or on Facebook right now, tag a friend in the comments below. What's going on, Krista? Happy freaking Wednesday, girl. Let's get it. Happy Wednesday if you guys are just tuning in. 4 health hacks today. We're going to be going over to really reinvent your animal-based diet that you might already be on. Or if you guys are just on a standard American diet or just a regular diet, these are 4 things that you can start to implement into your routine, into your daily regimen, in the kitchen to feel better, to look better, to just live better. At the end of the day, it's about wanting to thrive and thriving. So we're going to get the podcast kicked off, guys. So we're going to drop this live in 3, 2, 1. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode on the Relentless Life podcast. It's your boy, Chance Galloway. I'm super excited, super stoked to be here with you guys today. We're going to bring that energy, that fire, that freaking value. Wednesdays for me are all about nutrition. Wednesdays for me are all about bringing as much information and education to the table as possible. I want you guys to understand that I speak from practical experience here. 15 to 16 months ago, my girlfriend and I, we switched to an animal-based diet. We were healthy prior. We knew that certain foods were healthy, right? I've been a trainer for the last 8 years, so I have a good background with nutrition. At least I thought I did. So we were relatively healthy, quote unquote, to the general population. I then discovered an animal-based diet, a carnivore diet, and realized I was very misguided. I realized things like seed oils should not be in a human diet, at least a thriving human diet or an optimal human diet. So to kind of kick things off, like I said, I already said this before we got the podcast kicked off, I'm going into 4 health hacks or 4 switches we can all be making to further amplify our animal-based diet. So I'm gonna crunch through these today, guys. It's gonna be very quick, very short, to the point episode. I know you guys like that. So number 1, and I talk about this shit all the time, is getting seed oils out of your diet immediately. If you take anything from today's live, from today's podcast, it's getting rid of linoleic acid immediately. Get it out. Stop buying it. Stop eating it. Get it out of your diet. This shit is killing you. It's killing Americans. And this all started back in the 1950s, 60s, when Ancel Keys, a scientist, he thought he found that there was a major influx in heart disease, and he decided, and many other scientists decided to back him, that saturated fat and animal fats and cholesterol was the driver to this. So what happened? Well, he decided, okay, we're going to pull these epidemiological studies, and, we're going to say that saturated fat, cholesterol, animal fats are the problem. So what did they do? They created, the RDA, recommended daily allowance for cholesterol, saturated fat, the nutrition label, right? They kind of revamped that and started that up. And, everyone's supposed to have, quote unquote, the RDA is 2,000 calories. It's a basic, unit of energy expenditure of which we should be consuming. And what happened after that? Well, things like diabetes, heart disease, cancers, you name it, any autoimmune disease that you guys probably have heard of, IBS, everything went through the fucking roof. And especially speaking of heart disease, right? And heart disease is the number one killer of men in America today. Skyrocketed from the 60s to 2022. It has been on a constant uphill climb. And this is absolutely because of the significant, I don't have this stat on mind, but it's gone up probably over 100%, 150% consumption in the standard American diet. And linoleic acid saturates in our tissues, in our organs, in our bodies, and causes immense amounts of inflammation, makes our brain swell, causes us to have blood regulation and blood flow issues. And this is terrible. This is causing absolute havoc on our endocrine system, endocrine disrupting. And, women are not able to they're not as fertile today. It's not as easy to have babies. And a lot of this can be attributed to these cooking oils, to seed oils. So to further decrease your chance of everything I just spoke about, what I suggest that you guys do is immediately go to your pantry, and any cooking oil, anything from vegetable to manzola to corn to sunflower, safflower, anything, any type of oil. And even avocado and coconut, they are a little bit better, but a lot of avocado oils are marketed as a pure avocado oil when it's really mixed 50-50 or 60-40 or whatever it is with the seed oil. And they get away with it because, as long as I guess the majority or whatever it is the out from an avocado, they can still mix it. And that's just, a way for them to kind of get one under the customer so that they can sell it at a higher price and get it past you. So even those are causing havoc, and even those can be very rancid, very toxic on the body. So for number one, to make a long story short, is taking out all toxic seed oils, throwing them all away, and replacing them with animal fats, with things like ghee or clarified butter. My girlfriend and I, we cook in ghee. If we cook or make homemade French fries or potatoes, instead of spraying Pam or putting olive oil or any type of seed oil, vegetable oil in a pan, ditch that and spread some ghee on the pan. You'll thank me. Salt them up. They're amazing. I had my mom try them last night for the first time. She absolutely loved them. So that's number one. Number two is your meats, making sure that your meats are coming from a grass-fed source, right? So what a lot of people in our nation and in our Western civilized society don't understand is that you can cut out seed oils directly, such as like from cooking oil and things, you cook in a different thing such as ghee. That's a great first step. But what you have to also understand is grain-fed meat is going to be saturated most likely in linoleic acid because these animals that you're eating are being fed corn, soy, shit like that. And that is an unnatural diet. And that is going to cause your food to be inflamed and stressed. So that, what's going on, Trent? Happy freaking Wednesday, bro. So that when you eat the meat, the grain-fed meat, you're now going to be consuming that stressed meat, that meat that's saturated in linoleic acid. And that is going to then cause havoc on your body because now you're eating and consuming a food that is saturated in linoleic acid, and the inflammation is just going to skyrocket everything. And I've noticed this. I've noticed that, yes, I'm animal-based, but, lately I haven't been as grass-fed as I'd like to be. I have been eating more grain-fed meat from Publix, even though Publix is a better quality and better sourcing of meats. I know that if it's not grass-fed, grass-finished, it's grain-fed. And when it's grain-fed, they're not getting the best ingredients in their diet. So I've noticed I do burn a little bit more now. When I'm fully grass-fed, grass-finished, the burn isn't even there. It's very minimal. Now, if I'm in the sun for 8 hours, yeah, I'm going to burn. Anyone's going to burn. that's why our ancestors would put mud on their skin. They would try to seek shelter. They would, build shaded forts and shit like that. But that I've noticed personally, that when I eat just grass-fed meat, I don't burn as much outside. When I start to eat more grain-fed meat, ground chuck, burgers, steak, whatever it is from Publix, I notice I am affected by it because of the linoleic acid amount in the animal. So that's 2. So number 1, seed oils, getting rid of seed oils and switching to animal-based fats like ghee. Number 2, getting rid of grain-fed meat and switching to grass-fed, grass-finished meats as often as possible. Number 3 is swapping veggies for fruit. Now, anyone in the keto community listening to this would highly disagree with that. And I'm not a keto guy, animal-based. I'm not a keto guy. I don't worry about carbs. I don't. I probably have anywhere from 100 to 200 grams of carbs every day, primarily from fruit and honey. Some dairy, but mostly fruit and honey, and I feel fine. Now, I'm a little congested right now. I think a little something's going around, but I feel great most of the time. I feel great 95% of the time when I'm not sick or when my allergies aren't acting up. That's still something that I'm working to fix, outside of a non-animal-based diet. But vegetables, guys, plants don't want to be eaten. They do not want to be eaten. So the stems, the leaves, the roots, the seeds, especially the seeds, do not want to be eaten. The stalks of the vegetable, asparagus, right? Broccoli, do not want to be eaten. So I'm here to tell you guys, get rid of the vegetables. And I know I'm going against 99% of American doctors, and that's okay. That's okay. Take what I say with a grain of salt. That's fine. And switch for fruit. I'm not saying overdo it on the fruit, especially if you're trying to lose weight, especially if you're really insulin sensitive or insulin resistant, shall I say. But getting to an understanding and awareness that fruit is not bad for you and that vegetables can cause inflammation, whereas fruit are sweet for a reason. The plant makes it sweet so that animals or humans eat the fruit and then wind up consuming the seed, and they go and spread that seed, whether that's through digestion and they wind up going defecating and pooping it out and spreading it to another location, or you're eating an apple, you pluck from a tree, eat the apple, you walk 100 yards, you discard of that apple into the brush. Now that apple core, those seeds are going to disperse into the soil and they're going to create new life for that plant. That's how that plant lives on. That's how that plant procreates and further evolves who it is as an organism. So that being said, that is how plants reproduce. They want us to eat the fruit, so they make it sweet. I love fruit. I feel good with fruit. I'm not inflamed on fruit. I'm also not a fruitarian. I also think that 80 to 90% of our diet should be from well-raised, grass-fed, grass-finished sources. Whether that's and I am a firm believer that red meat is, tier 1, and then you got chicken, pork, fish, stuff like that kind of supersedes that. But, as long as you are sourcing your meats, whether it's pork, chicken, red meat, fish, from a regenerative source and not from a mass-produced farm, you're going to be okay. If you don't like red meat, it's not the end of the world. I get it. I personally fucking love red meat. I eat red meat 6 days a week. Or 6 days a week, literally, multiple times a day. So, and the other days, I might have fish, I might have chicken, I might do pork every once in a while, but most of my diet is red meat. And I feel great. I feel good. I feel awesome. And I am going to get my blood taken. I did get my blood taken before going animal-based, like 15, 16 months ago. And it's about that time. I had a script written up recently, actually like 5 months ago, to get my blood drawn and to see where I'm at. I know I'm going to have high cholesterol, but the main thing is that, my triglycerides aren't high. Cholesterol is okay. Having a high cholesterol is something, in my opinion, to be proud of. High LDL, something to be proud of. But as long as I am very insulin sensitive and not insulin resistant, I think I'm going to be okay. I know, in fact, that I'm going to be okay. Because guys like Saladino and Baker and Brian Sanders and these guys in the community, I've seen their studies, their observational or interventional studies, and it's very compelling. It's very compelling to see the studies that they post. Like I said, I'm not a researcher, doctor, scientist, but from what I've studied in my own time, it's very compelling to know and to trust that this diet isn't bullshit, and this diet has been saving people and is very under-discussed and is very undervalued in the mainstream media and the mainstream health care industry. And I'm telling you, if you guys have issues, if you have IBS problems, digestion issue, if you have an autoimmune disease like lupus, or you suffer from diabetes, whether type 1 or type 2, I need you to understand that this is something that is helping millions and millions of people, and that it's very undervalued, very underdiscovered, and very discussed. And that's why I feel it's my obligation to get on here and to tell you guys, even if there's only a few people watching, that it's changed my life. It's changed the way I view nutrition. It's changed the way I view human evolution. It's changed the way that I view what it means to be an optimal human being, and what it means to actually thrive. Thriving versus surviving are two separate things. You can survive on a vegan diet. You can survive going vegetarian. But are you going to thrive? No, you're not. And the main reason why there's so many vegans out there that swear by veganism is because they most likely were eating a standard American diet prior to going vegan. And when they cut all the shit out and went vegan, whether it was raw or whatever they did, even if it was still processed, being a processed vegan, they cut out a lot of shit. Now they're like, oh my God, I feel better. Well, no shit, you feel better. You just cut out, 80% of your shitty diet. Like, yeah, you're now eating all these plants, but at least you're not getting all the garbage that's associated with how you were eating before. So that's number 3, long and short. Veggies, get rid of veggies, start eating more fruit. And then finally, I wanted to talk just briefly about dairy. I still consume dairy. I've always had one of these things where one year I was, for a while I was pro dairy, pro milk, all this shit. I didn't know anything, the difference between A1, A2. I didn't know the difference between pasteurized, homogenized, and raw dairy. Didn't even know what that meant 3 years ago. And recently I realized that raw dairy, for many people, not all people, but a lot of people, can be very beneficial. It can provide very important peptides and things like calcium and phosphorus in our diet, can create strong bones. And by consuming raw dairy, A2 raw dairy, it won't be as inflammatory towards our gut. We'll have a much better gut health. We'll feel better most of the time. And it can just be a further supplement and addition to everything else that we're eating on an animal-based diet, to the grass-fed, grass-finished meats, to the fruit, to the honey. And you got raw dairy, you got raw cheeses. I love cheese. I don't really want to give up cheese. I love it. My dog loves cheese, but I really do love cheese, and it's something I don't want to give up. So those 4 things are very, very important. If you guys decide to choose anything from those 4 health hacks, diet tips, whatever you want to call it, I would definitely suggest that you guys look into number 1 and get rid of seed oils. Seed oils, getting rid of those is going to be huge. Number 2, going from grain-fed meat to grass-fed meat. Number 3, just getting the veggies out, start eating fruit. And then finally, if you want to really ramp it to the next level, and you want to start, thinking about not drinking A1 pasteurized, homogenized dairy that essentially has very little nutrition to it, and you switch to raw dairy from a local farm that is vetted correctly, that the animals are taken care of, from a regenerative farm preferably, and that those animals are fed grass 100% of their life, then do that. Raw dairy can definitely work for you. I haven't taken that step yet. I plan on taking that step in the future, and I know it's worked for a lot of people. So I hope that this helped. I'm going to read a few of these comments. Looks like Dave the Man has something to say over here. I'm going to address that in just a second. But I want to thank you guys tremendously for tuning in today. If you guys are tuning into the podcast, I really appreciate you guys listening to the audio version today. This will be available on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Just type in Chance Galloway on YouTube. And the last 8 or 9 episodes that I've done have all been available on YouTube. So I'm super excited about that. I'm able to get this shit out on the podcast on YouTube. I post it on Facebook and on Instagram via the lives. And so I'm really excited, guys. I'm really grateful for you guys being on here supporting me. I hope that you guys learned something from this. In fact, as I always speak about, success like speed. So I want you guys to post your number one biggest takeaway and post one thing from this video that you're going to start implementing into your diet. If you guys are still here, still listening, still watching, you obviously are here for a reason, and you obviously want to make a change in your own life. So I challenge you, your homework is to post in the comments, whether on Facebook, whether on Instagram, whatever, or DM me and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to implement immediately. I'm going to go throw out all my seed oils in the pantry. I'm going to immediately switch to ghee, clarified butter, regular butter, whatever it is. I'm going to throw all the I'm not going to eat vegetables anymore, whatever you guys got from this video. And if you guys want to look more into this, I would suggest following accounts like Carnivore MD. His name is Dr. Paul Saladino. I like Dr. Sean Baker, my buddy Brian Sanders, who I interviewed on episode 52 on my podcast, The Relentless Life. So there's resources out there for you all. There's plenty of much more intellectually capable humans than me that are actually certified, that are actually doctors, and that can put this into perspective for you all. So those resources are there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, I hope you guys live freaking relentless. Let's go. Great freaking podcast. That was awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you all enjoyed this live. I'm going to read. I got a couple comments here to read. It looks like Dave the man, bro. Are we going to talk? Oh, I don't know what this is about. Okay. That has nothing to do with the live. I will respond to that privately after this is over. Yeah, so it looks like that's it. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your guys' support, as I said, on the podcast. Y'all have been fucking amazing. I will post this on Facebook, Instagram. It'll be available on my podcast on Spotify and the Apple Podcast app. If you guys have any questions with what I'm doing in my program, thank you so much, babe, for the support. If you guys have any questions with what I'm doing in my program, please feel free to reach out to me. Signing new people every day, and I'm just so excited to grow a community of men that are truly looking to embrace their best selves, embrace their inner alpha, right? That's the message that we're spreading here, spreading a positive message, a positive energy vibe. It's fucking fire, and I'm super excited to bring that shit to you guys. So I hope you guys got the fucking value. I hope you guys start to fucking implement. As you know, success like speed. Stay fucking relentless. Stay consistent. Let's fucking go. Boom!